I could hear more of the Lonesome Crowded West than I could the Moon Antarctica. Oh, I said it right.
See? There you go.
I said
No,
it right.
you didn't say and, though.
Yes, I did. I said
It's not
Antarctica.
It's not Moon Antarctica. It's Moon and.
That's what I said. I said
I don't
the
think
Moon and... now I can't say it.
That album. Let's call it Moon. Eminem. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
Hey there, this is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, a different artist, and we break down one of their records. We listen to all the songs, all the lyrics, and we do a bunch of research, or we try to at least. And then we just kind of talk about it. We try to have a good time.
I don't know.
My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. Go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, especially Spotify. Give us 5 stars and 5 stars only on that stupid fucking app. Probably shouldn't be saying that like that, but anyway. Also, while you're listening, go follow us on all the socials. So Instagram, Twitter. We're at Asinine Radio. We have a Discord server. If you want to join that, let us know. We'll send you the link. And we have a phone number. With that phone number, you can give us a call. You could send us a text. I don't know. Talk to us. Let us know what you want to hear on the pod. We will probably listen to you. The phone number is 503-893-5307. Now, Jeff, now that all the boring intro stuff is out of the way, what are we doing today?
We're doing Brand New's Daisy.
Now that we have that out of the way, Jeff, what is your what's your origin story with the Brand News? And just what's your origin story? What do you got? Go.
Really, like my origin story is just buzz around the feud. Like, that was the first time I heard of Brand New. The first time I listened to Brand New was Deja, and that was when that was around the same time that I met friend of the pod Rudy, and Brand New was like his favorite band, Brand New and the Deftones. I hated both those bands ever since, I guess. But yeah, he really loved Deja, and he constantly talked about how great it is. So I listened to it and thought it was mediocre at best, and written this band off for many decades because I just didn't care. And honestly, I had not listened to a Brand New album since high school.
That's insane.
What? How is that insane?
I don't know.
I think it's fucking. Besides this album, parts of this album, there's no reason why you should like this band. It makes no fucking sense.
They have some good stuff.
But this is not a band that you particularly like. This is a band that focuses solely on lyrics. This album also, there's a lot of this album is 2 bands. This band is like an early At the Drive-In, had sex with like Modest Mouse, and then had a baby. That is exactly what this album is.
That's not a bad.
I could not fucking believe how much Modest Mouse I hear in this album. It is unreal.
Like, what Modest Mouse? Like, what album?
Well, so Modest Mouse, by the time Brand New came around, they were like 3 albums deep. So this is very much like the Moon in our fuck me. Still can't say it.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it was tough when we did it on the pod too, right? That's a hard thing to say.
I could hear more of the Lonesome Crowded West than I could the Moon Antarctica. I said it right.
See? There you go.
I said it right.
You didn't say and though.
Yes, I did. I said Antarctica.
It's not Moon Antarctica. It's Moon and.
That's what I said. I said the Moon and. Now I can't say it.
That album. Let's call it Moon. M&A. M&A Cotton. M&A. But this is there's a lot of style in here. There's a lot of style that is totally Modest Mouse. The way they yell, the way they do these little quirky guitar parts and then yell, and then like At the Drive-In, man, a lot of these guitar tones. Holy shit! I could not believe how just post-hardcore they were, but how much they sounded like early At the Drive-In.
Yeah.
I don't know. I understand why you like some of this album because there's a lot of that post-hardcore sound, but then you hated Fugazi, which I don't fucking.
I didn't hate
either,
Fugazi. What are you talking about?
Couldn't stand Fugazi.
I bought 2 of their records.
You gave
You
like
fuck-
Repeat It. You gave that like a 2
Repeat It.
out of 3.
No,
And
no,
then you
I gave
hated-
it.
And then you
I
hated
think
the 13 songs, and like the only Fugazi you liked was
Red Medicine was
what
my
you're
favorite.
doing.
Red Medicine was the
What are you
best.
doing with your life over there.
Yeah, I liked Repeat It. That was my. I think that was my 2B. Yeah.
All that California wildfire smoke getting into your brain.
I don't know what wildfire you guys are
Pulling it
talking
up.
about because I didn't see shit today.
Well, I mean, I don't see it either. I Googled it.
Well, but I think Ryan was saying that he said he saw smoke in Huntington Beach, but I don't know how that smoke got over my house and only into Huntington Beach.
Took the jet stream.
It took the jet stream. Oh God.
Yeah, so
I hate
honestly,
that.
I had not listened to an entire brand new album since Deja in high school. And,
All right.
and there were times where people would say, "Oh, you should listen to this fucking song because it's so good." And every time I was like, "Yeah, it's never been bad, but this is not something that I'm going to go back to and want to listen to an entire album by." No.
No. All right. So my origin story is similar to yours, in that it happened in high school. It was Deja and Tendu. That was the first album I heard, and it was the song "The Quiet Things" that no one ever knows. Whatever the stupid fucking song is called.
No one knows.
It was. I remember exactly where I was at. I was at my grandparents' house in San Bernardino. It was like 11:30 at night, and the video came on MTV2, and I was just hanging out watching music videos on that channel, and that song came on, and that was the first time I ever had heard the song, seen the video, and I really, really liked it. And then they came out with Sick Transit Gloria shortly thereafter, and I really liked that song as well at the time. And I like the video a lot too. I recorded both of those videos on VHS back in the day, and I just always, those ones always stuck with me. I had a burned copy of Deja and Tendu. I listened to it every once in a while, but it wasn't like a staple in my listening, my CD listening at the time. But and then once I met Tammy a few years later, she really loved Brand New, and that's when I listened to a lot of Deja and a lot of The Devil and God. So, I mean, I've listened to those two records so many times. And by the time Daisy came out in 2009, they had put out Gasolina. And I loved that song. That song sounded nothing like they had ever put out before. And I was like, this sounds like it could be off of Nirvana's In Utero. Like just the crunchy guitar tones, the way he screams. He goes from the screaming to the more clean vocals. Very Kurt Cobain. And I fucking loved Gasolina. And then Daisy came out. I fucking loved the record the day I heard it. I think Daisy is a truly, truly remarkable album. And it's just so wildly different from anything they've ever done. And I fucking love it. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's my origin story and my first impression on Daisy from Brand New. So do we have any stinkers off of this album?
No stinkers.
Same here. And I assume you have a lot of bangers.
I think I have 5.
You have
I have 5 and a
Okay.
half.
You're so annoying.
I have one that I could be persuaded to bump up.
Okay, well, let's persuade you to have 11 bangers. So,
That's not going to happen. I tell you how much right now. You joking my ass? I don't want to hear nothing about it.
all right, a lot of words again, but that's okay. We'll move on. So what's your 1B or let's get into Gasolina, and that because we already played it. Where does this sit for you on the banger list?
This is my 1B. This is my favorite song.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. This is my 2B. My 2B.
Yeah, this is fucking good, man. This one has some really, really cool parts to it. And then there's that like explosive riffage that just turns like the song into this sort of hardcore punk song, and it's so jarring, it's so aggressive, and then you think, what the fuck? Where did this come from? Why is this happening?
Yeah.
But like overall, this was like the first time that I realized that, dude, this is a child of At the Drive-In and Modest Mouse. That's what this song is, and I love it.
I don't really hear the Modest Mouse, but you're more of a Modest Mouseman than me. But I can definitely hear that at the drive-in. But I still hear mostly Nirvana, In Utero Nirvana, especially with that guitar. It's the guitar tone, and even the drum tone at times. It has that very bombastic sound that Dave Grohl had on that album. And I hear a ton of that. It's so fucking good.
It's a good song. I mean, the bass line slays. It's just a scale that just sounds like he's picking the power chord notes. Super simple, super easy, but it drives along. It kind of, it's like emo kid complexity is what's happening there. I like it.
The simplicity of the drums adds so much to the song. The simplicity and the openness of it, because during the verses, because there's no real chorus in this song, but during the verses, it's just the snare drum and the kick drum. That's it, and it leaves everything else open and just so much space. But then also, like you said, when it kicks into the faster part, it goes da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. That's so at the drive-in, like straight up out of either In Casino Out or even Relationship Command. It's fucking awesome. I love this song Gasoline.
It's a fantastic song, and I don't know. This album I have mixed feelings about. There are certain songs on here that I find as bangers, but they're I don't know if I'd say this is like a beyond banger, but this is something in between a banger and a beyond banger.
I totally get it, and I think that's why another reason why this song resonated so loudly when it came out, because this is the introduction to the album. This is like the thesis statement to this record before it came out. And it's just like, where is this band going to fucking go with this record? Because this is just so different for them. Not different in general, because like we've talked about, it seems like they've taken quite a few influences or been influenced by quite a few bands. But damn, dude, this is a great way to really open up the record before it comes out.
And that's there's something in that, right? Like when I say this is a product of At the Drive-In and Modest Mouse, that's not a knock. That's not a negative about this. And I think it's amazing that this band can take two different bands and kind of make like a byproduct, but still keep their integrity. And like, there's something to be said about that. There's something to be said about blatantly telling everybody, hey, these are our influences in music. Here's how they're affecting our musical writing, our lyrics, our tone. But then we're also going to keep it like us. We're going to keep it brand new. And they achieve that goal in this album, which is, it's unheard of, to be honest. Like bands can't accomplish that many things in an album.
No, you're totally right. Totally right. All right. So musically, do we have anything else on this one?
No, just like the song stops, right, and then breaks into that last part, and then there's that weird bridge thing that leads to just noise to end the track.
Yeah.
And so we're ending this monumental track with just like noise, and it's like, dude, I love it.
It's intense.
Like,
I love it too.
That's so At the Drive-In and Modest Mouse. That's so fucking weird. That's so like, why? To the masses, you would think, like, to the untrained ear, to the untrained eye, you would think, like, why would you ruin a perfectly good song with just fucking weird static and noise and stuff? And it's like, well, no, that's not it at all. They added a song to the static and noise part of it. Like, the static and noise has a lot to do with the song, has a lot to do with the concept of the album, where we're heading, sequence-wise. There's a lot to it, and I love it. I
do too. I totally agree with you on that. I normally wouldn't like those kind of, I guess, outros or segues into the other song, into the next song, but if for whatever reason it works for this one, this song is still playlistable. You can still throw it on a playlist and still get through that noise section and be totally okay with it. That just shows how great of a fucking song it is.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Not many on here, but this is a great one.
Well, that's wrong. So lyrically, I mean, the song starts out with, so you tried to put a fire out, but you used gasoline. I love the way he sings that or kind of yells that part. It just sounds so emotional. He just sounds just so hurt by it. I love that he starts the
he's screaming at somebody. He's fucking like, he's agitated to the max, right? He's like, what are you fucking doing? Like, this is about, I thought this was about people who are just making huge mistakes and then trying to cover them up and essentially making everything just fucking exponentially worse. And that's right in the very beginning. Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, don't do that. That's worse than what you did. Like, why are you either lying about it? Why are you trying to cover it up? Why are you hiding?
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like this song in particular is more about how he feels about himself. And I agree that You know, it's about how he tries to make things better, but in the end, everything just gets worse no matter how hard he tries, or how he perceives it. Maybe he is making things better, but he still perceives it in a negative way. That's what this song is about. And the way he says those first two lines, so you tried to put a fire out, he screams that part, but you use gasoline. He doesn't scream that. It's more of like a melancholy kind of clean thing he does with his voice. Like he kind of realized what he's doing, or I don't know. I love the way he just really uses his voice to really make the lyrics more effective, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like when you're yelling at somebody, right? Like, dude, you fucking did this.
Yeah.
Like, why did you do that?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the disappointment. You know, he's pissed at first, but then he's really disappointed in himself. But he does that a lot on this record. I mean, I can't say he does this. I mean, he probably does the same shit on all the other records, but this is the only one we dove into the lyrics on. But yeah, Gasoline, man, this is a fucking banger. I love this song.
It's good, and then like the whole ending, right? Of like he's jumping towards a train, and then that's when we get like the weird, like loud noise part in the end, and it's just like, okay, that's cool stuff, man. That's cool songwriting mixed with like kind of stage play theatrics a little bit, but it's good. It's solid.
It is. It's fucking great, man. All right, so we good with Gasoline?
Yeah, Daddy Yankee, baby, Gasoline.
Gasoline. All right, what do you got? Oh, so that's your 1B.
Yeah.
Duh. So my 1B is Sync. A few songs later. This song, it sounds like the verses, I guess you could say, it sounds like they're going into battle. Like you're watching a movie and you know, a group of like an army is about to go into battle, and then it drops into something super heavy and everything is just fucking chaos. I just love that. And that guitar lick, that main guitar lick, oh man. It's perfect. It's not even anything complicated. It's just a great guitar part.
Those quick guitar noodles reminded me so much of like the stuff Jack White does, like back in his heyday when he was like really good at doing those little noodles. Like that was cool shit. I love that a lot. This is not a banger from this is an okay song for me. Well, but there's a lot of cool parts to this. But like this was one of the most like aggressively Modest Mouse singing that I heard on the entire album. It was just I was like, wow, this is fucking nuts.
See, I still got a lot of Nirvana. I even put here, I love how he almost seamlessly goes between the heavy screaming back to a softer thing that Kurt Cobain was so good at, especially in Utero. I honestly, he was really channeling his inner Kurt Cobain vocally. And I feel like the rest of the band were really channeling, like you said, Modest Mouse at the drive-in, and I would add, you know, Nirvana into that.
And like realistically, like I like Nirvana a lot now in recent years, but I haven't like grown up listening to Nirvana over the decades. So,
yeah.
But like I have listened to a lot of Modest Mouse over the decades. So when I hear these things, oh, it sounds like Modest Mouse. That's not to say that if I listen to more Nirvana and then listen to Modest Mouse, I'd be like, oh, fuck. I hear a lot of Nirvana in Modest Mouse. I hear a lot of Modest Mouse in Brand New. Therefore, if A equals B, B equals C, then A equals C, right? I hear a lot of Nirvana in Brand New. That's not to say that I just don't hear it because I don't listen to a lot of Nirvana.
That makes sense.
I'm still new. I'm still new to the Nirvana game here.
You're still working on it. You're still working on it. You'll get there.
I'm in like my elementary phase here. I'm in like second grade with Nirvana. I'm taking like for my first state testing with Nirvana is what's happening right now.
Wow, that's so stupid.
But the instrumental part of the song, fucking way good. Like by this point on the album, a lot of times I don't like Jesse's vocals. It's really like it's a song that's okay. I really love your vocals. I like what you're doing here. Or it's like, dude, I can't stand you right now. And this is the one of the ones that I really didn't like it at all. But I like the music so much. That's why it's not a stinker. But okay. I don't know. It's a good aggressive song. I like it. It's fine.
It is. I was kind of curious if you would like more of his screaming stuff, if you like more of his melancholy stuff, because there are some songs on here that are just very depressing sounding. Like he has I respect his vocal ability on this record so much because he delves into so many genres and he gives out so many different emotions, and it's interesting to hear your thoughts on his vocals because he's really all over the place.
As far as whether or not I like his clean or dirty vocals, I think like the best way I could put it is I don't like either of them, but I like both of them. So when he's doing it individually, I could care. I don't really care too much about it. But when he's kind of like going back and forth between the two, and even if he just like sprinkles in one over the other, like I love that. I love that contrast. But if it's just like a song that is focusing on one of them, it's whatever.
Okay, I understand that. I get it. Okay, so let's play a little bit of Sync, and then we'll get into the lyrics. And does that sound good?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Sync from Brand New. There's a little bit of the song Sync from Brand New. Oof, that is truly a banger. Truly a banger. So what do you have lyrically on this one?
This is I thought this was a longer one. There's a lot of lyrics to dive into here. Yeah. But I felt like the overall feeling was about him being betrayed. I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes when like these songs are longer and it's not a banger for me, I kind of skim the lyrics there.
The lyrics, yeah. So I got on this one. This one was a little bit more difficult for me, not being really a lyricman. But what I got was it's about letting his depression and disappointment in others and himself overtake his life and his personality and everything like that. He's saying he's okay with continuing to live and just going through the normalcy of life, but he wouldn't be opposed to death if it presented itself to him. And throughout this song, I feel like he kind of talks about longing for simpler and more innocent times when he was a kid or like a teenager or something like that. And then as you progress through the song towards the end of it, I feel like he's really thinking about death, and he just kind of wants to end it all, or he wants it all to end, whether it's by his own, hand or somebody else. So it's just this build up, much like the song. The song is a great build up. And the way I kind of looked at it, like the verses, because they're softer, they're quieter. He's kind of talking about, he's happier at that point, but then, the dark thoughts come in, and that's when it gets heavier, and it's just the back and forth, the ups and downs of depression. And then it's too much. It's too much at the end. He doesn't kill himself, but he really does not care at the end what happens to him. That's what I got on this song.
Yeah, I can see that, especially at the end part, right? Because like the climbing the window, or the climbing the vines to get to your window.
Yeah,
that's very like Shakespearean, right? That's very like huge romantic gesture. Like I'm scaling the side of a lattice to get to your window so we could talk, and the very last line is falling asleep because he just doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean those two lines are very. It's a good contrast between like something that's very, I don't know, very emotional, very meaningful to him, and then just like fuck it. Such is with, I don't know, like depression. You get these these ideas of grandeur, and then fuck it, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true.
That's kind of cool. I dig.
I do too. And we actually didn't talk about this yet, but the writing of this album prior to this record, it was mainly Jesse who wrote the music and pretty much did everything. But this is the first time where Jesse like sat back and let the rest of the band write a lot of the music. And that's why I think this record sounds very different from everything they put out, because Jesse he didn't spearhead the writing of this record, which I think is really cool. Like, that's great that he let the band do this and we get this fucking record. All right. So then what's your 2B?
At the bottom of everything. By Paradise.
All right, that's my 3B.
No,
okay, so let's get into that.
Yeah. Cool intro. This song is another one that's incredibly Modest Mouse sounding, though. Everything about it. Good stuff. Nothing too interesting, but I like the melody in the chorus a lot. The
yeah.
Do This For Me, that part, Dude, that part is so fucking cool. It's so easy to get behind. And then who's it with Brian? Is his name Brian, the drummer? Brian.
Oh no,
think-
yeah, Brian Lane. Brian Lane.
Brian Lane. He has some really cool drum fills here. Easy stuffs that are like fun, and like they help transition the song without filling up too much space. Right, like less is more type of thing. Like you need something there, but if you were Travis, this song would be dumb. But if you were a bad drummer, if you were Meg White, the song would be dumb. So he fills that void, that just enough. And I don't know what they're called, like drummer wise, but I call them Pat Boone, Debbie Boones, where it's just like boom, pa, boom, pa, and then it moves into something else. I call them that because I saw some guy on YouTube call them Pat Boone, Debbie Boones. But when you say it out loud, you get like Pat Boone, Debbie Boone, boom, 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 don't, then go into something else. That type of fill, that simplicity of a fill. I like those. Those are cool. And then we get back more into like the experimental side of the album in the later half of the song, right? Like some like cool sound manipulation stuff, and it ends like it came in, right? I like the little bend or the bend in the guitar riff, that little subtle simple bend, but it only comes in the second part of the riff.
Oh yeah.
Fucking rad. I like these little nuance to these songs. Like these are very basic emo high school songs that they're just kind of building upon. And again, I kind of like bring it back to like Pinkerton stuffs where those are very basic songs that they're just building off of different genre, but like these are just very basic songs that they're just building nuance off of. They're adding layers to these songs, but at their core, there's not much here. But that's great.
It's great, and I feel like you have to listen to this album several times to really hear the ins and outs of what they're doing and the little guitar not tricks, but the little guitar parts that they're throwing in there to really just fill in the space where it needs to be filled in at. Nothing sounds, wanky. Nothing sounds like it doesn't belong. Everything is well placed, well written. That's the charm of this record. Like if you go back to the singles off of Deja and Tendu, like, there are very prominent moments in those songs, like guitar lead wise on The Quiet Things. Sic Transit Gloria has that bass line, that dum 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 dum. Like it's very, very, that leads the song rather than accompanying everybody else. Like this really does feel like more of a group effort than the previous records. I really feel that way.
The first time I listened to this week, I was like, shit, dude, this sucks. Like, I do not want to do this at all, especially coming off of, like, their first. I listened to this one. I was like, okay, this sucks. And then started over and went to their first. And I was like, wow. Like, why the fuck are we doing this album? And, like, the second time comes around, and I kind of thought, like, okay, this is just a band that's just trying to rip off a bunch of other bands. Get it? But, like, you see a progression already. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this is a band that's just ripping off, like I said, At the Drive-In, Modest Mouse. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute there, dude. This is a band that's kind of complex. Let's see where it goes. And by the third listen, I was like, okay, these guys just fucked me. These guys made me look like a fool. I got egg on my face here because it's like straight up your first listen, dude. This is dumb. This is bad. This is noise. This is sloppy. There's not anything great here. It's just like, wow, this is what you guys put out. It does. It takes subsequent listens to peel that onion back and realize, holy fuck, man, there's a lot of really, really good songs here. There's a lot of really good layers to this. There's a lot of great songwriting to this. But, like, this is not a one-and-done album. This is not a one-and-done like the first album. The first album's a fucking one-and-done for sure.
Yeah.
Tell All Your Friends is a one-and-done album. Even Deja. Like, Deja's kind of like a one-and-done album. I appreciate where they're going for it, but this is what they really wanted. I feel like this is, I don't know. I didn't read a lot of interviews about what they thought about this, but I feel like this should be their most proud achievement.
I agree with you. And this is another like Nirvana thing. Like Deja and The Devil and God are their Nevermind. I mean, Nevermind obviously is a much better record, but this is their those are their Nevermind. And then after that, they're like, fuck what everyone says. Let's just do whatever we want, whatever feels good to us, no matter how it sounds, how sloppy it sounds. And that's where this album comes in, and that's where In Utero comes in. That's where Nirvana was like, you know what, we're just gonna just fuck around and just have a blast or have a good time, throw it back to like our punk roots and shit like that at times, and just be raw as really, really raw. And that's what this record is too. This is their In Utero. I'm going to say it over and over and over again, but this is their In Utero. Sonically,
and that's not a bad
musically,
comparison, because that's something that I'm like, In Utero is like my favorite Nirvana record, and I never fucking thought in a million years that would ever happen. That I wouldn't even have a favorite Nirvana record. But
yeah, seriously.
when we did that album, that was like, I kind of had the same thing. I was like, okay, these are just pop melodies masked behind like bullshit fucking music that's bad. But that's because you're coming off Nevermind. You don't know that the band is deeper than that. And subsequent listening on In Utero is just holy fucking shit, dude. These guys are phenomenal.
Yeah, dude, I love In Utero.
And not, I do too. And not to say like this is as on the same par as it, but I do think these guys, I like when bands try to do something and then achieve that. They set goals and they achieve it. I like that. I think they set a goal to do that and then achieved it. And I think they did it in a way that rewards perseverance on our end, on the listener's end. This is not just Blink-182 bubblegum pop punk music, which I love, but like we got to put some effort into this too, right?
I agree. I totally agree. I respect them for really
work.
I totally respect them for going out on a limb and doing something different and doing it really fucking well. Doing it really, really, really well. So massive respect towards the band on this one. But
baby.
Yeah, so At the Bottom. Yeah, let's play a little bit of At the Bottom and then we'll jump into the lyrics and then move on. So here it is from Brand New. There is At the Bottom from At the Drive-In, or not At the Drive-In, fuck. From Brand New.
For me.
From Brand New. At the Bottom.
Bottom of everything.
Good song, good Bright Eyes song. I also wanted to kind of talk about in the chorus of this song how, normally they could go with these big soaring guitars, everything like that. But instead they go with this like this whining kind of high-pitched guitar drone to really kind of make it kind of annoying, but it still just really drives that passion and I love that. And then they immediately drop back into the clean guitar and it has that nice swing to it. I think this song is an absolute fucking banger. I love this song.
The chorus this chorus may be like the best representation of what this album is about, like sonically, because like you said, the guitars are different in two ways. Just like the vocals are different in two ways. I really like that do this for me part. Do this for me. Like that's so whiny and so pop punky and so emo. But then there's aggressive parts of this chorus. Like this chorus has it all. This chorus has everything.
Wow. Yeah. This
could be the best chorus on the album.
It could be the best chorus. Yeah. Yeah, it could be the best chorus on the record. Not the best song, but the best chorus. Yeah. Ooh, it's a goodie. It's a goodie. So what do you have lyrically on this one?
I thought this was like being in so much pain in a relationship that nothing else mattered. Nothing else matters. Specifically, I think about like a significant other that is slowly dying. His friends are essentially dead to him because he can't even handle like the heartache. He can't deal with the heartache. So not that he hates his friends. It's just they've now fallen to the wayside because he's completely engulfed in this pain. And I like the dam metaphor, right? Slowly picking away at the bricks until like the flood opens. And like he's like this whatever is happening is slowly picking away at his mental state until one day like it's just completely overwhelming and he drowns mentally and then metaphorically also. Yeah. And like, dude, the last line of that stanza where he says he'll want answers when he dies, like I think that's implying that, like, also just kind of backtrack a little bit. There's a lot of religion in this album, but not.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Not like Thrice preachy religion where it's boring and terrible, but a lot of like questioning whether or not I should be religious or I shouldn't be religious or God exists or God doesn't exist. There's just a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions being asked with no answers, which I love. And the last line of this one, or that stanza at least, where he says that he'll want answers, implies that like he's pissed off, dude. Like he's fucking mad that like somebody he loves is dying or is dead now, and he knows he will die because we all are going to die, except for me. But like when he dies, he's gonna want fucking answers, and like that thing that's
Yeah.
cool because that not only is like he's pissed off, but he's acknowledging that God exists, right?
Hmm.
Like when he dies, like I'm gonna want answers from God. It's like okay, so then you do acknowledge God exists. So there's a lot of these little subtle things in here that, like religious or not, like this is just fucking cool. That's just cool songwriting. I love
agree.
it.
I agree with you on that. It just shows it just shows how emotional of a person he is. I'm not faulting him for that. It's just he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't take grief well at all in these songs, and I feel like that's the overall theme, or one of the themes on this record is grief, and religion. Him questioning why do I feel this way? Why do so many bad things happen? Why am I so cynical? He's questioning the higher power, but he never really does. He really ever call out God? I don't think he ever does that. He's never that
Direct. There's a couple
Direct,
times where,
yeah.
where he says like, I mean, in this song he talks about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost,
oh, that's
which
true.
is
He does, yeah.
a way to kind of skirt around it. But I think there's a couple times where he does say like the word God, and there's a couple times like he deliberately wants us as a listener to know that he is battling. He's not just this little punker atheist. Like he's actually battling with whether or not he should be a religious figure, or not a figure, but like somebody who follows religion and
Mhm.
believes in God. But then also like to how much bullshit that it entails being religious. And there's just I like that. I like that vulnerability. I like that honesty.
Yeah, I do too. And what I noticed too, because there is a lot of religious stuff on here, he doesn't really talk too much about, organized religion. He talks about faith more than anything, and questioning why he feels this way, but never really questioning the people associated with organized religion, which you see a lot in rock music, punk music, metal music, questioning that kind of stuff rather than the faith itself. So I feel like it makes these songs a little bit deeper, very more emotional for sure. And I like that. I think honestly, I think he's a solid lyricist. I really enjoyed his lyrics. They're not my favorite that we've done on the pod, but I really do like him a lot. And I can understand why people who really like lyrics like his stuff, and they relate to his stuff really well, or a lot. I totally get it. Totally get it.
I will say too that there's a lot of ambiguity in his lyrics. So
True.
it's not just like punker lyrics. There's a little bit for everybody here. So I don't know if that was a deliberate attempt for him to open the gates to all people. That way he can make more money, or if that's just he's that good of a writer to where he can relate to a lot of different walks of life. Because usually when we see somebody who is this like ambiguous, the lyrics they don't really mean anything, just because you can kind of tell, like, oh, you're just being a little fucking cuckboy over here. But like his are nice because like anybody can really relate to these, but they're not. I don't know. They don't seem disingenuous.
I think it's all intentional. I feel like he's purposely being ambiguous because he doesn't want to. I think he's shy. I think he's very shy, and he's obviously very emotional.
Oh, he's for sure shy. He
And
hates doing interviews, right? Has no social media.
Yeah, he's been very obnoxious in the media.
He's like fucking 6 siblings, dude. 6 or 7 siblings.
True, yeah. And the last time I saw Brand New, that was one of the worst shows I've ever been to, because he was acting like a child.
He's a brat.
Like, he had fucking tantrums on stage. It was terrible. It was a fucking terrible show. I've talked about it on the pod several times. It was terrible. But I think that's a lot of what it is too. He's too afraid to be. He's afraid to be too vulnerable, so he hides a lot of his actual feelings behind these ambiguous lyrics and everything like that, which I think is super cool. I think he does it really, really well. It's fantastic. But that's my stance on that. But I will say though, I did see them on the Daisy tour right after this record came out, and that show at the Hollywood Palladium was fucking awesome. They were so goddamn good. I was blown away by that show. And then you and I saw Brand New once, so there's that too.
Where do we see them at?
We saw that Bamboozle. They They played before Thrice.
That's right.
So I seen them 3 times. I saw them at Bamboozle in 06, and then I saw them in 2009 at the Palladium, and then I saw them right before they broke up. Their last tour, I saw them in Vegas. They're fucking terrible. But
Good old Bamboozle.
yeah, that was a fun show. Fun
Dude,
festival.
the highlight of that show was Horse the Band, straight up.
Oh, dude, that was the best.
That was probably the coolest thing that we saw at that show.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on there. And you know, it's funny. The main reason why we went to that festival was to see the very first Plus 44 show, and then they canceled right before. So we didn't even get to see Plus 44. That was like the main reason.
But we did see Plus 44's first show anyway, so
We did, yeah. We ended up seeing that at the Roxy.
that's fine.
But yeah, so that at the bottom was your 2B, correct?
Yeah,
Oh no, your 3B.
2B.
Okay, so my 2B was Gasolina. So then, what is your 3B?
I think it's towards the bottom of everything. No, I'm just kidding. It's In a Jar.
Okay,
Caught in a Jar by the Dropkick Murphys.
no. In a Jar is my 6B. So what do you got on this one?
I like Jesse's vocals here, his singing and his screaming. This is like 2 songs into one, and I like that. This is like when I was talking about earlier. I like that he does. I like both of them, but I don't like them individually. And this is I like that they can exist together as something better than they would individually. And that's what this song is for me. Like mostly this is a vocal driven song for me, and that's why I like it.
So,
Bam.
Do you remember the Godsmack song called Voodoo?
No, I don't remember God fucking smack song Voodoo.
You would, I think, if you heard that song, you would know it.
God, does it sound like this or something?
I guarantee you would know that song because it was like their most famous song. But it's I don't know. Every time I hear this song, the part where he says "the stones in your eyes," "the stones in your eyes," that part reminds me a lot of that song "Voodoo" by Godsmack.
Is that from their first album?
It's from their first album, yeah.
Famous first album.
Yeah, it's from that one. I think it's like the last song on that record. It's a pretty good record, though. That's a pretty good record. But
All I know about Godsmack now is like their singer's a better drummer than their drummer, and they have like drum offs during their shows.
they do. That's true. Sully is a pretty solid drummer. Yeah,
And
you're
like
right.
that's cool, but then like you think about it, I'm like, okay, well that's actually kind of lame. Oh, it's kind of embarrassing.
Well, it's like Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl's a better drummer than Taylor Hawkins.
Oh, it's blasphemy right now. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
it's
this whole
true.
Taylor Hawkins.
Oh, we didn't
hype.
even talk about that on the pod. Oof, we probably shouldn't bring that up.
Because everybody that listens to us are probably a bunch of little fucking fanboys and get all mad. Actually, most of our listeners hate the Foo Fighters. So who cares?
David loves the Foo Fighters.
No, he doesn't. Oh, you're
He-
saying that to make him mad because he fucking hates
No,
the Foo
David
Fighters.
does
You're right.
though.
No.
David likes Foo Fighters more than Rise Against.
No, his significant other likes the Foo Fighters. He
No.
fucking hates the Foo Fighters.
No, that's bullshit. That's
No.
fucking bullshit.
Not one of our listeners loves the Foo Fighters, except for you,
I don't love the Foo Fighters. I think they have
Tyler.
they have some good
Rawr.
songs. They have
Yeah, they have, like,
2 good
3.
albums. Get the fuck out of here. That's just silly boy talk.
Good buddy.
All right. Yeah. In a Jar. This one, this is more of a bass driven, outside of the Godsmack stuff. It's more of a a bass driven song. The guitar just kind of lies there in the back. It adds to it, but it doesn't overtake anything. It's more there to fill in the blanks, more of a nuanced thing, and I really like that. It's a calmer song, but then it does drop into like some pretty heavy parts, and I thought that was I think that's just, once again, they do it so well on this record, dropping from the soft to the heavy, back to the soft, just back and forth. It's also very new metal. That's very Korn. It's very, shit that was going on in the mid to late 90s. The quiet, heavy stuff. So, yeah, in a Jar is a fucking solid song. But
Fuck it.
should we play this song or should we play the Godsmack song?
But you should play the Godsmack song, but only if you can find probably like a live acoustic version of it. That would probably be the best.
Honestly, I could be completely wrong. I haven't heard that Voodoo song in so many years.
I'm adding it to my list of things to do.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong, but I feel, I don't know. Who knows? we'll let
Okay.
people listening weigh in on that. So, but I'm gonna play a little bit of In a Jar
Okay.
from Brand New. So here it is. Here we go. There you go. A little bit of In a Jar from Brand New.
You know, like now that you mention it, there's another. Like, so I bought a bride. That's my 5B. But like my notes saying, like at this point, I'm hearing a different band. I'm hearing a different artist that I can't quite place. I've placed At the Drive-In. I've placed Modest Mouse, and because I don't know what it is, I just put maybe like Manson or something. And this song In a Jar, I like you're right. I hear something there. I don't know what it is. I cannot place it, but I do hear some other band. I hear some influence there.
Is it like a grunge band, maybe? It's weird you said Manson. It's a odd one.
That was specific to Bought a Bride, but now, I don't know. Now I'm thinking like In a Jar, it could be something else too. I don't know. Maybe maybe one of our listeners will enlighten.
Yeah.
Me, because my grunge knowledge is limited to Alanis Morissette, really. And
Yeah,
that's
Alanis
about
Morissette, that's it.
You wanna know?
I love how on Dudesy made them listen to the Jagged Little Pill.
Oh, and they fucking loved it. Bunch of
Especially
buttholes.
Chad loved it. I
Yeah,
was surprised.
yeah. You wanna know?
Oh man. Do you remember when we tried to do that on the pod and then after
About
one
2
listen,
tracks deep.
yeah, we're like, fuck this. We're not doing it.
I'm curious now. Now that Dudesy has done it, I am curious. I will probably listen to it this week while I'm at work when I have nothing else to do, I guess. But I'm curious to hear that album again.
Yeah, I'll listen to it again. I'd listen to it again. I would never want to rank all of her records. I don't think I could do that.
This
That's
would be my
just too
last
much.
listen though. Like if this is bad, then I'm done forever. I would never speak of her again.
Done. for
Outside
you.
of Dogma.
Was that what she says in Dogma?
She's God in Dogma.
Well, yeah, she's
I
God in Dogma, yeah.
love the movie.
But the line that you just said, was that from Dogma?
What did I just say?
Wait, what did you say? You just said,
I don't know.
I don't remember what you said.
wanna know?
Yes. All right, so what do you have lyrically on In a Jar?
This one's cool because it's using this metaphor for what like organized religion creates for its people. This concept of we are living in a jar, we are living in this bubble, and if you are a religious person, and this is one of those songs where it's like you kind of think that Jesse is a religious dude. Like you think that he goes to church and he's a practicing Christian or Catholic or whatever the fuck he is, but then he questions. He says like, what if we're just like in a jar and the sun is just a hole punched by whatever the fuck it is. And then you think, I thought back to that Men in Black ending when like it pans out from Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones looking up at the sky, and it pans out and it goes to like the earth and then like the solar system and then the galaxy and then like the universe. And then really the universe is just two weird aliens playing marbles. And like that's,
Yeah, I remember that.
that's what this reminded me of. It's so fucking existential. It's so out there that you cannot prove or disprove it. But even questioning it a little bit shows some type of I don't want to say backbone because that's not right, but it
Critical
shows some
thinking?
type of critical thinking. Yeah, that's a better word. And I like that. I
I do too. I got much of the same as you. Just kind of like on a more basic level, it's about him initially thinking that the human race, everything in the world is important, and then you come to that realization. Something triggers that realization to where you find out you're not important. Nothing's important. Everything, you're a speck of dust in eternity. You mean nothing. Your family, your friends, everybody means literally nothing. And then at that point, he spirals into like a depression that just leads to everything else. It's almost like this is like the beginning. The lyrics on this seem like the beginning of all of his future feelings. Like this is this is the start of that snowball, the start of all of that. And I think we've all kind of been there. We've all kind of had that existential kind of thought and just kind of been a little bit bummed about it. You know, when you really kind of think about it, you get a little bit bummed about it. But I feel like because
scary,
he's such
dude.
it is scary, but I feel like he took
Fucking frightening.
it is, but like, you know, I feel like he's such an emotional person that he really just took it to the point where it's controlling his entire life. Like he can't. It's hard for him to function because of, you know, his depression and anxiety and everything that this entails. So
I don't think besides Renee, I don't think I've ever told anybody this, just because it's not that big of a deal.
Mhm.
But one time when like Nick was like 10, when we were still in California, I remember
And Nick
I heard
is
him,
your stepson.
yeah, I heard him crying in his room, and I was like, okay, here we go. Like, this is probably going to be something stupid because kids are dumb and they cry about dumb things. And 10, I mean, he could have been anywhere from like 6 to 15. I don't know. I just say 10. but he it was for sure after Kaylee was born, so he had to have been
Okay.
like 6 to, maybe he was like 8. I don't know. But he was like crying.
Let's just say
and,
10. 10's fair. 10's fair.
And you know, he had to have been 10 because it's like a pretty deep thing. And I was kind of like, dude, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? He's like, am I gonna die? I was like, oh fuck, I'm not prepared for this one. And I was just like, okay, so how, like in my mind, I'm racing through all these scenarios. Do I lie? Do I say yes? Like, what do you do? So I'm just me, my personality comes out. I'm like, yeah, we're all gonna die, yes. And then it just turned into this huge thing where,
Oh shit.
like, how do you comfort somebody, but also tell them that yes, you are going to die. Everybody that you know, everybody you love is going to die at some point. Throw back to that Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips song, you know, the
Yeah.
chorus is like, you know, do you realize that everyone you know someday will die? And it's like, fuck, man, that's heavy shit. That's like really, really, really heavy stuff. And these are things that we pretend to not think about, or we put like in the back of our minds to not want to think they exist. But it's also not something that we should be dwelling upon every day, because then you're missing, like I always tell you, you're missing the forest or the trees type of
Oh my
thing.
god.
When you dwell on one little thing. Did you know I was going there? Did you know I was going to say that?
No, I didn't think you were gonna stoop to something that's stupid, but
Yeah.
you know, I shouldn't have been surprised. You say stupid shit all the time.
But like this,
So.
this is what this song kind of like reminds me of is somebody like, dude, we're gonna fucking, we all possibly nothing, no one's,
Yeah.
I don't know, insignificant specks of dust.
It's a scary thought. It is a scary thought. But yeah, like you said, you can't dwell on it. It's not gonna serve you or anybody else any good. Dwelling
Yeah.
on it.
What are you gonna
Sucks, but it's reality. Just gotta face it.
do? Ooh, could one say it is what it is?
No, because nobody should ever say that.
Oh.
Because that's stupid. But yeah, In a Jar. Do we have anything else on this one?
No, that's it. That's all.
That's it. Okay, this
Yeah.
was your 4B, correct?
That was my 3B.
Damn, we're kind of blowing through these because you only have what, 5Bs? Is that right?
Yeah, I have 5Bs, and then I have one that maybe possibly you haven't mentioned it yet. So I thought it could have been a B, but if you don't mention it in your top 5 or 6, then it's not going to be a B.
Well, what song is it?
Oh, you want to tease it now?
Just do it. What do you got? We
Okay,
could
Be
move around.
Gone.
Be Gone. That's my 11B. That's my
Okay,
that's my final B. But that's fine. We could. I mean, it's very short. It's like a minute and 10 seconds. It's
just so one. I thought it was funny that this is the one that's sung by the guitarist, but it's the
Mhm.
shortest song, and it's not even like a real singing thing. But
It's an
I
interlude.
understand that it goes in line, like that broken vocal thing. It goes in line with kind of like what is the struggle of religion versus like atheism here. Which one should he choose? So he's breaking up his vocals to kind of give this ominous, indecisive contrast. I like it.
Okay.
I dig it. I don't know if it's a B though, because like I'm not gonna playlist this. That fucking voice is annoying.
but it's a B in the context of the entire record.
Yes,
So that's why it's a B. But it's the 11B.
but I'm not gonna playlist this because I don't want to hear him go. What the fuck he's doing? It's annoying.
So real quick lyrically, what I have on this, I feel like this is him like in a deep depression and him calling out to God, and he hears something back and he thinks it's God, but it's something distorted and fucked up like what you hear in the song. And then he comes to that realization, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I was expected. This is something evil. This is something more sinister than what I was expecting. And this is also him questioning more of like, why is everything so fucked up? I feel like the distorted voice is something meant to be sinister lyrically and musically. And it goes along with like the blues thing, because this whole like acoustic guitar blues riff is extremely Mississippi blues, which was very spiritual, very religious in a sense, very superstitious. Just everything about this one interlude, this minute and 20 seconds, whatever it is, I think is just so full of lore. Come on.
It's fine. It's fine.
Get out of
like
here.
Musically, I think it's fine. And like really, we would not be discussing these lyrics if we didn't have any kind of written lyric form in front of us, because we don't know what he's saying.
Because we're not lyric men. That's why.
But you can't understand what he's saying.
No, I know you can't. Yeah.
But I do think I think here is that push and pull of religion. I hear somebody praying and sort of wondering why their faith is constantly being tested, right? Like when he says he thinks he can hear God call his name, but then he says he thinks God will try and break his heart. And it's one of those things where you hear like people that go through extreme hardships and they say, "Oh, God is testing me. God is testing me." And to somebody that doesn't believe in God, you're just kind of like, well, why the fuck? Like, why would fucking God do this to you, dude? But like, you're not putting yourself in that person's shoes. You're not like seeing things from their perspective. And that is what they believe. And we believe this thing. There's got to be a middle ground here. And I think this song and this album really is exploring that middle ground. It's bridging the gap between somebody who's crazy religious is not wrong or right, and somebody that's crazy atheist is also not wrong or right. Like we gotta find a middle ground.
Yeah, atheism versus faith. That's what it comes
cool.
down to. I like it too. I think it's a great theme for the record. It's something that I don't feel like is touched upon very well. Not a lot of bands can pull this off. Like I felt like
almost never. Like I mean, never hear a push and pull of religion versus non-religion.
I mean, I would even say when we did that Thrice record, he did as religious as Dustin is, he really did a great job questioning certain things and never being pushy or preachy about what he believed in, but it was just the questioning of it. Dustin lyrically was the best thing we've done on the pod.
Oh,
that was my
Regina.
favorite. Oh, Regina was so good. I mean, they're top 5. Regina.
I guess Dustin was great because it was surprising that it was so great, and Regina we knew was going to be great.
Yeah, I guess so. Atreyu was another big one that really, really surprised me that I loved too. The Suicide Notes and Butt Kisses. That was his lyrics on that record. I really, really enjoyed. I thought they were great. But anyway, yeah. So this song, Be Gone, Long One. You remember that from Robin Hood? Disney one?
Robin was not that great.
Because you're fucking stupid. You've never seen a good movie in your whole life, except for Return of the Jedi. What? It's true.
Okay.
All right. So,
all right.
Are there any other songs you want to talk about on this one?
On the album?
Yeah. I mean, what else do you want to talk about?
I only have 2 more B's. I have Bed.
Okay.
And then I have Bought a Bride. Bought a Bride. My 5B, and then Bed's my 4B.
Well, let's finish up with those 2 songs because Bought a Bride is my 8B, but I really want to talk about the lyrics on this one. Bed.
On Bought a Bride or Bed? Oh, Bought a Bride.
On Bought a Bride. Bed is my 5B, but let's start with Bed, and then, what do you want to start with? I don't care what the fuck we start with.
We can just. I don't see anything like crazy cool here about Bed. I like it. It's a cool song. Also, I thought part of the song vocally reminded me of that Sopranos theme song that by Alabama 3 or 3rd, or whatever the fuck that dumb band's name is.
What You Got Yourself a Gun? Got yourself a gun.
Part of his whispered vocals like reminding me of that so much. I don't know. That's what I heard. But yeah, that's really it. But what is it? Bought a Bed. It's got a gun. That's what it reminds me of. God damn it.
The Bought a Bride reminds you of
Bought a Bread. Fuck, I'm still not even saying. I cannot say it. It's not coming out of my mouth. Bought a Bride. Holy shit.
Bought a Bed. Bought a Bread. Wow.
Bought a Bride. Bought a Bride.
That is stupid.
Yeah, this is the one that I thought reminded me of something. I just couldn't think of it. Therefore, I said it was maybe Manson or something.
Well,
It reminds me of an artist tonally, and I cannot place it. I could not place it all this week.
the that bass is really beefy. Maybe that's what you're thinking of, because Jordy's or Twiggy's bass on a lot of those Manson records are they're just not crunchy, they're beefy. That's the best way to kind of describe it. They're kind of forefront in the mix. They just have a certain tone that really stands out. But maybe that's what it is.
This is another song where I focused almost solely on his vocals, and I loved his vocals more than the music here, and so that's why I don't know. That's why I think when I'm hearing something, it's got to be like vocal based, and that's why I said Manson, because Manson was a very vocal thing and
That's
unique
true.
in himself, and I just said Manson because I don't know. Fuck do I know?
But okay, so I mean, the verses were more of the clean stuff. The choruses were more just like straight up screaming, which is very Manson as well. He does he does that very well. The clean kind of like creepy vocals and then going right into the screaming in the chorus. That's very, very Manson. So maybe that's what you're picking up on. I don't know.
It's possible. I like the chorus a lot, actually. I like his vocals in the chorus a lot. I like that he yells. I like that he can strain his voice, but it's not like you can hear him like strain his voice. Like he's not being like obvious about it. He's being a little subtle to it. And I like that.
I do too. This is a song too. I didn't really think about it until this week, but this song sounds like it could be off of Thrice's Visu record. It has a lot of the same nuances, the kind of ups and downs that were on that Visu record. The way he kind of screams and it was very similar to like Stand and Feel Your Worth on that record. Maybe that's like the one song that it kind of reminded me of the most off of Visu. But yeah, I do really like Bought a Bride a lot. But the lyrics were definitely my favorite part of this, like how it kind of told a story, and the I guess the metaphors were really they were pretty obvious, but I still thought it was nice to see something not as ambiguous as what we're used to seeing on this record.
Oh yeah, fucking go ahead. I mean,
do you not? I don't know. What do you think of it?
No, I agree. I thought there was a lot of really cool things on here, and I just thought he like dumbed it down to just, I don't know what you would call it, but like Julia Stiles when she's singing or reciting her poetry in 10 Things I Hate About You, and say, I love the way you did it. Like that's very basic poem, right? Poetry.
Yeah.
And that's here in the choruses. These choruses are very basic. Like Little Cities' names have ruined all the maps. She tied her up and laid her on the train tracks. Like it's basic, dude. It's basic poetry writing.
Yeah.
And we're not getting a lot of that on this album. And I like that it's on this song. I dig it. I like that it's straightforward.
I do too. So just real quick, my interpretation of it, and yours probably the same as mine. So the first two verses are about just how complex the human psyche is, or can be, or it is, and she feels so empty and lost, so she turns to drugs. The pre-chorus is about her discovering heroin in Bought a Bride. The white is representative of the heroin and this and that, and then finding a bride is always like a happy, very joyous moment, much like the first time I've never taken heroin, but from what you hear, the first time you take heroin, there's nothing like it. Much like a lot of people say when you get married, there's nothing like that. So that's where I make that association. And then the chorus is referring to the track marks and the shooting up with the little streets on the what did she say? The little streets or
little cities
and everything. That's like the track marks where she's shooting up at. And then the third verse is about regret for what she's doing to herself and then others around her. And then the song kind of ends with her overdosing with the heroin.
Yeah, I got like the exact same thing.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done, and I loved how, like I said, I loved how straightforward it was, because we're just not used to it on this.
Like I really enjoy poetry, but I don't know what that type of simplicity in reciting poetry is called. but that's what this is here. That's very basic. These choruses are very basic, and I think they're dumbed down, not to be like existential or anything. I think they're dumbed down to drive the point home, that this is a story. So when we're going back into the chorus here, we can keep track of each line and think, okay, this is a progression of a story. I think that's intentional, and if that is intentional, I think that's genius writing.
I think he's a good lyricist. He's a very good lyricist. So do we have anything else on Bada Bride? Should we wrap it up? What do you think?
Bada Bride. No, that's, I don't know why that's even, I know it is. That's all I got. That's all I got for my Trubies. I'm scrolling real quick, see if I have anything else. It's super quick.
All right. Well, yeah, because I have 11 Bs on this record.
That's just what are you doing here? What is Noro ranked for you?
It's my 7B.
What about Daisy?
Daisy is my 9B.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Is that fine with you?
Yeah, because those were like two. Like if I had to place everything as a B, rank them, those would be like at the bottom of my list.
Okay, all right.
Whatever's.
I understand it. All right. So let's give our final thoughts on this record, Daisy, and then we will rate this based off of our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So what do you got, Jeff? Go.
This was cool because we don't always do albums where on first listen you're irritated, and then by like the third or fourth listen you're kind of like, holy shit, it's pretty good. It's not bad. This is pretty good, not bad. PGMB. So that's what happened with this one. And the first listen, like I said, I was just I did not want to do this. I was like, fuck, man,
thank God
this is gonna be tough.
More.
This is gonna be tough. I almost texted that. I always leave my out. I always say, well, let me listen to all of them, and if I want to change it, we can probably change it. I do that kind of shit.
We both do that.
Yeah, because we have to. Because if something's so bad, dude, like I just don't want to fucking do it.
Yeah, we don't want to be miserable while we're doing this podcast.
Yeah, I don't want another. What's that? BTS. I don't want another BTS week.
Yeah,
Fuck that, dude.
But you didn't. You only listened to one album or 2 albums, maybe. I got like
listen to 3 albums.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. We were pretty much the same.
Yeah, fuck that. But this was. I mean, this is not like my favorite. This is not my favorite brand new album. I probably wouldn't buy this on the vinyls because I'm not going to listen to this through and through. I mean, this is a 2. This is a solid 2 for me. This is something you should listen to. Like, you need to listen to this because this is. I think they should be most proud of this album over any other album they've done. Even though my favorite album is one-dimensional, it's goofy. It's essentially their pop punk album. It's dorky. It's whatever. This is something they should be proud of, man. Like this is. If this album didn't exist, I would have less respect for Brand New overall. Even though this is not my favorite, I really would. I think they did something really, really special here, and we don't always see. God damn, we rarely see bands honestly take inspiration from other bands. And like Greta Van Fleet always pops up, right? That's a band that took inspiration from another band and just like copied it and didn't make it their own. Like Brand New, like, dude, I hear so much fucking Modest Mouse in this. But at no point did I think they're ripping off Modest Mouse. At no point. And
because
every single one of these songs.
Like it. That's the thing.
And every single one of these songs I thought was like, holy shit, this sounds like Modest Mouse. This sounds like Modest Mouse. But at no point did I think they're ripping them off. Almost every song I thought like, holy shit, this sounds like early At the Drive-In. This sounds like At the Drive-In. At no point did I think they're ripping them off. This is a band that took inspiration. This is a band that like enjoyed listening to good music at the time and then decided to write their own based off of those likes and dislikes, but never ripped it off. And then like these lyrics, we don't hear these punker cool emo bands ever talk about religion really, aside from just fuck religion and fuck authority and God is bad. You know what I mean? Like that's shock value sells in these circles.
Yeah. And
to take like religion and to battle within yourself as to whether or not you are a religious person or you're not a religious person and to kind of go back and forth between those two, I think it's brilliant. I think it's unheard of. I can't think of any band that does all of these things as well as this album did.
Yeah.
And like for all of those things, like I'm giving this band so much credit. But I think just to stay true to our point system, like it's got to be a 2.
Okay. All right.
But fuck me, I was really, really impressed by this album, and I think they should be. I think this should be their most proud achievement, honestly.
Hey, that's fair. That's totally fair, and I'm really, really glad you enjoyed it eventually.
This is like when you're put into a group in soccer and everybody thinks you're not going to make it out, right? You're like the USA and you're put in fucking Belgium and Germany and Spain and you somehow fucking manage to squeak by barely. Like you should be proud of that. It's not pretty, but you should be proud of that.
That's not that analogy.
That's what this
is
album is.
stupid. All right, so you gave it a 2 out of 3. You should have given it higher, but that's okay. We'll get there someday. I think this record is truly unique within their discography. I feel like they really tried to push their own limits, push their own boundaries, and it worked out so well. Because, like I said earlier, a lot of bands try to do something they've never done before, and it's shit. It's absolute shit. Atreyu. But Brand New just knocked it out of the fucking park, and they truly made something great. And I don't know. I think this record is, like you said, it doesn't rip anybody off, but it almost pays homage to all the bands that inspired them. And when you kind of read more about, them making records, they've always said, like, we've never tried to make anything radically different. We've never tried to like break the mold. We just listen, and we were influenced by whatever we're listening to at the moment, and that's what we do as a record. And this record is the perfect example of that. I don't know what exactly they were listening to, but it was probably Modest Mouse, At the Drive-In, and Nirvana, and a little bit of Godsmack. They probably threw on that first Godsmack record a couple times.
Yeah, I'm sure out of those fucking bands, they threw in Godsmack, yeah.
Honestly, who the fuck knows? People have weird fucking tastes. Look at us.
You're right.
Look at us. Look at what we like. You love Lil' Kim. I don't fucking understand that, but you do.
Oh,
you know?
Lil' Kim's so good.
You have bad taste sometimes, but that's okay. But Daisy. I have this on vinyl. I have no regrets buying it. I got it for like $20 at Glass House, like maybe not even a year ago, and it was used. And I have no regrets buying this record. This record,
cheapy.
It's fantastic. I love this record, and obviously we didn't touch upon the Jesse Lacey, the bad stuff that he was a part of, because that's not relevant to this record. And we're just trying to separate the music from his extracurricular activities that were wrong, very wrong. But it still has to be brought up. It's shitty that he did the things that he did. It's not right.
We also barely brought up like the feud too.
Yeah, the Taking Back Sunday feud. Yeah,
that's funny.
It's weird. I thought we were gonna have those in our back pocket just in case we didn't have enough to talk about. But luckily, we didn't have to talk about those things because neither of them really apply to this record at all. So
not at all. I have nothing to do with this record.
Yeah. So,
maybe
anyway,
the first one, but
yeah. So with that, I'm gonna have to give this record a perfect 3 out of 3. I love this record. I loved it.
God,
the moment I heard it, I have
insane.
loved this record. It's just unique. It's fun. It's exciting. And now that I know the lyrics, I like it even more. I've gone through the lyrics. I like it even more. So I don't think he's as whiny as I thought he was going to be, and I like that.
Dude, same. Like that. I should have said that like fucking long time ago. I swear to God, I thought he was going to be so obnoxious. I thought he was going to be so, but he never was.
No, he never was. The lyrics were much better than I was expecting, so I'm pleasantly surprised by that. But anyway, that's all I got. We're just kind of rambling here. So, do you have anything else to say, real quick, about Brand New?
Okay.
So thank you all for listening. Go to Apple Podcasts. Go to Spotify, especially Spotify. Give us 5 stars, 5 stars only, and you know the rest. Tell your friends. And that's it. That's all. Adam Zara. Bullshit.
What are you
Get the
keeping
fuck outta
fucking
here.
tabs over here? What, you got a notebook?
I got notebooks everywhere.
Come on.
All right, so Brand New have 5 records.
Come on.
So like I said, we're gonna rank the 5 records.
It's so dumb.
It's not even funny. It's not even funny.
It's so stupid.
So why are we laughing? It's really not funny.
You're gonna start saying it out to people. Come on.
It's really not. I could hear more of the Lonesome Crowded West than I could the Moon Antarctica. Oh, I said it right.
See? There you go.
I said it
no,
right.
you didn't say and though.
Yes, I did. I said
It's not just-
Antarctica.
It's not Moon Antarctica. It's Moon and.
That's what I said. I said
I don't
the
think
Moon and oh, no, I can't say it.
That album. Let's call it Moon. M&A. Oh, and they fucking loved it. Bunch of
Especially
buttholes.
Chad. Chad loved it. I
Yeah,
was surprised.
yeah. You wanna know?